Well, good morning, everyone. We're going to start off this day with a quick look at Marco, but we're shifting our focus now to Laura because that is the real threat. Taking a look at this satellite imagery, you can see Marco in the northern Gulf really getting the tops blown off of it, but we see Laura coming into the screen from the right, just south of Cuba. And taking a look at Marco, we see that the tops are really getting blown off of it as it approaches the southeast Louisiana coastline. It's really hard on this image here to tell where the center is, but it's really decoupled from where the convection is. All the convection is off of Pensacola and it's just south of Mobile. And I want to show you this other satellite imagery, which is called a shortwave IR. And if you look real closely where my cursor is, this is where the actual low level center of Marco is. And you can see the deeper convection is well removed. It's finally succumbing to this shear. There's an aircraft headed out there right now. The maximum sustained winds, according to the Hurricane Center, are 60 miles an hour. I think they're going to be hard pressed to find that. And I anticipate rapid weakening in the future of Marco. Now, looking at Laura, we can see that Laura has an appearance of a sheared system, and that is because it is getting a little bit of shear, and it's also getting some influence as the convective center of the storm is south of the island of Cuba. It's getting some wraparound as the center of circulation being south of the island of Cuba. It's getting a little bit of drying off the island of Cuba, and so it's kind of starved for moisture in the center. But you can see we have this really deep convective band here south of the center. And what I think that'll do is that will actually play into where Laura goes. Um, the center of circulation in some of these weaker tropical systems have a tendency to want to move towards that convection, or it kind of acts as a magnet for the center. And I think that's one of the things that's going to keep this on a little bit more of a southerly track. If we look at that same shortwave IR imagery, that center pops out a little bit better. You can see it there just off the southern coast of Cuba, moving off to the west-northwest at about 15 about 15 knots, 15 to 18 knots, about 20 to 21 miles an hour. So moving on to our Hurvac, first taking a look at Marco, we can see that its maximum sustained winds are 60. It's moving off to the northwest at about 10 miles an hour. The official forecast has it skirting right along the southern coast of Louisiana and then dying right off the coast of Texas. This will not be a threat, so we're really not going to talk much about it. Laura is the real big game in town, and we can see the track has pretty much been consistent between the very far eastern areas of Texas around Sabine Pass and southwestern Louisiana around Lake Charles. And I would not be surprised to see this track shift a little bit further west over the course of the next day or so, and I'm going to show you why here in a little bit. But right now you can see the winds are mostly confined to the north and east and southeastern semicircle. They're not a lot to the west, and that's not too atypical of a tropical system, especially when it's interacting with land. Once it gets out over the open waters here, a little bit further away from Cuba, and especially once it gets out over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, I really expect this to ramp up rather quickly. I don't see anything inhibiting it. I see very good upper level outflow. I see a lot of moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and I see really warm sea surface temperatures, and it's going to be passing over the loop current. I don't see anything that would inhibit development. They're going for a Cat 2 hurricane at landfall, but I would not be surprised to see it ramp up to major hurricane status as it approaches the Texas coast or southwest Louisiana coast at landfall. So the next thing I want to look at is our track model. So we'll start off here with Marco, And you can see that that's the track forecast. Not going to spend a lot of time on this. They're pretty much set. Either it goes inland over southeast Louisiana or it drags along the coast and dissipates, but it's really not a threat. As we look at the early track guidance from Laura, we can see it tracks mostly along the western side of Cuba here. The southern side of Cuba goes over the tip and then either comes in right along southeast Texas or southwest Louisiana. You can see there's a cluster there. But what I want to do is show you all the models. It kind of gives you a better idea if we just throw everything on the board where the clustering is. And you see the clustering is anywhere between around Palacios to around Lake Charles, with the clustering mainly tightened between High Island and Lake Charles. That's where everything is centered. Now, the other thing I want to show you is the European forecast. It has really taken a shift to the west here, bringing the main focus of its ensemble members. These are the ensembles. So let me briefly explain what an ensemble is. An ensemble is, think of it as a choir. You know, you can have people singing solo, and when we talk about model runs like the GFS or the European, that's the solo singer. And what an ensemble is that's the whole choir singing. And so right here you can see this is the entire choir singing, and some guys sing a different tune than others. Sometimes you got guys singing bass, and some people are singing soprano. Well, this is what happens when the entire choir sings, and each one of these models will take a different perturbation, they'll take a different formula, and they'll calculate things differently in the atmosphere. And what if it runs this way? What if it does this? Or what if we calculate something just a little differently? And this is what you get. This is the output. And as meteorologists, we like to look at the ensembles because, you know, things in the atmosphere sometimes react a little differently than what we are anticipating. And so we look at the ensembles, and then sometimes what we like to do is just throw out some of these wild cards here, and then we take the mean of the ensembles and kind of split the difference. And so what I'm looking at here is if we take the mean of the ensembles, I'm looking at something along the upper Texas coast, more back towards High Island to Sabine Pass, especially if this thing wants to cuddle closer to the convection and maybe pass a little bit further south of the track in its initial track here in the first 24 hours. That's going to be critical. Looking at some more ensemble members, this is the GF ensemble, and you can see we have some of its ensemble members singing over here to the right, and this black line here is the operational. This would be your solo singer, but we have a lot of them clustering now over to the left, and a lot of them are clustering around High Island, just west of Sabine Pass. Taking a look at the UK Met, we can see it has a lot of singers as well, and pretty much all of them are singing somewhere between Matagorda and Lake Charles, with a big clustering of them singing along the upper Texas coast. And there is the 0Z run. That was 7 o'clock last night, this big black line here coming in right around the Texas-Louisiana border. However, I want to show you one last run, and that was the 6Z run. That is about at 1 o'clock this morning Central Time, and this is the solo singer, the operational run is what we call it. And it came in right around Matagorda Bay. And I really like the UK Met. It's a really good model. It's pretty good. It's got a good record as a hurricane model. If I had to pick 3 models to use as operational models, it would be the European model, the GFS model, and the UK Met. And so right now what we have as far as the European, the UK Met, and the GFS, we have 2 of them coming in up around Sabine Pass, maybe a little bit east on GFS, one of them coming in right there around Sabine Pass, and then now this one coming in around Matagorda. So if we take an average of that, we see that it's the 3 of them, if we use them as a consensus model, are singing a tune somewhere just northeast of Galveston Bay around High Island, or maybe extreme southwestern Louisiana. So if we go back now and look at our official forecast, and let me zoom in here, we can see that's fairly close to where the Hurricane Center has it, and it's definitely within the cone of error. Remember, this is just the average error of the forecast over the past 30 years or so, and that 2/3 of all the hurricanes at a given time have come within this cone. But it also lets you know that 1/3 of all the tracks fall outside of this cone. So it's definitely a good possibility that within the next 3 days or so, the storm track will fall within this cone. And I believe this is probably a pretty good guess right here, somewhere to the left of this track. And within this cone, we're going to see landfall here sometime before Thursday midnight of Hurricane Laura, probably a major hurricane. And again, I think it right now there's a really good chance it falls somewhere within the left side of this cone, somewhere between Galveston Bay and what is this, Calcasieu Parish. Let me zoom in here because all my Cajun friends don't get me. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Cameron Parish. Calcasieu is Lake Charles, so that's Cameron Parish. So somewhere in this area here in the next 72 hours or so. I will be updating probably 2 to 3 times a day. I anticipate that today I will give an update after the 12Z model runs come in. 12Z model runs are the models that are for 7 o'clock in the morning. So I will probably update at around 1 or 2, and then I will do another full update after the 4 p.m. advisory comes out. Just remember, Jesus Christ is still on the throne. God bless you.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this edition of Agape Lifecast. And whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, I ask that you do me a favor. Please like the video and share it. And if you haven't already done so, please like the Agape Lifecast Facebook page and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Until next time, may God richly bless you and keep you.